lunchtime and the Brooklyn Cafe is open for business. Live from the AMP Media Studios, Dawn and Freddie S. and their team are ready to serve up a huge portion of fun for lunch with friends and neighbors. So let's break open that lunch pail and unwrap that sandwich you brought and take a front row seat in the Brooklyn Cafe and get ready to enjoy some humor and hot topics. It's time to get a healthy serving of hope and happiness to help your day go by with a smile. Your hosts, Dawn and Freddie S., are ready to talk about food, health, dating, or just plain dream making. If you have a story to share, movie review, restaurant critique, or just a coincidental thing that happened to you, call in toll free 888-994-4995, Studio A right now. Sit back and enjoy your lunch break at the Brooklyn Cafe. Here are your hosts, Dawn and Freddie S.
Your True Oldies Listener's Guide. Listening in the Palm Beaches? That's 95.9 FM. On the Treasure Coast? You want 106.9 FM. In Boca? It's 95.3 FM. We've got Fort Lauderdale and Broward County covered with 96.9 FM. And you can always hear us anywhere at TrueOldiesFLA.com.
And they don't have HD one. Welcome.
Yeah, how'd you get that, by the way?
I got the Seinfeld thing.
Where'd you get a bass from?
Way back when my dad.
And ask her if she plays.
Music. Here's a bass, and I was like,
Ask her if she plays.
What was that movie, Smacking the Bass? Remember that?
No, don't.
What movie was that from?
There you go. That's Seinfeld. Sorta, kind of, maybe not.
The Negotiator actually running a bass. What'd you have to do to get that from your dad?
no, it's just like they just supported my passion.
Oh, you played.
No, well, I tried to.
And you have a mic?
Really into it.
You have a mic?
She talks into the air.
You have a mic?
She talks into the air. She's a well-rounded producer.
And now she got her phone.
Curly, you have to tell her.
Talking to the
Talking
mic.
to a mic. You run the floor. You have to tell her. Tie your shoes. Things of that nature.
The Negotiator. Anyway, happy Thursday, everyone. Do you love our set? Look, it's perfect. You're on the blue side, and I'm on the orange side. I feel like we're in dolphin colors.
I made this set.
It's nice.
Thank you.
Look how nice it matches everything that we're
Thank
wearing
you.
today.
Rebirth of Soul, is that what we...
This is beautiful, right? It always works out that way. I always seem to wear what the art is of the day.
You remember in the day, well, they're young, but remember in the day when you used to have your own music? Like when you used to walk down the street and they made fun of it, they had the boom box and you used to walk, like John Travolta used to walk strutting.
Strut.
So you should take this, stick
And
it on your
strut.
back and just strut down the street.
I'm going to strut down to the dentist's office today just with this on my car. Exactly.
Looks pretty good, right?
It looks fantastic.
You see that lower light I put on it? You don't say nothing. You always criticize me, but you never say the good stuff.
It looks real. No, I just sat down and said it looks really nice. The set looks fantastic.
Thank you for joining us.
And we got the sound all fixed for Studio B this morning, so thank you for your patience as we were in that sound check.
Well,
That kept
I don't
glitching.
know about all that. Anybody have Facebook on their phone?
I bet Shay does.
Shay does not.
See that?
She's pulling it up doesn't mean she's on it.
See that? And our opening song, that was As Long As You're Mine by Kendra Erica and Constantine Maroulis, produced by Rob Evan. And we had to do that because we've been in this conversation about The Wizard of Oz for the past 2 days.
But I was right.
Anyone know who the house fell on?
No, that's the rumor. It's not the Wicked Witch. The opening set of...
Because the Wicked Witch of the West is the one that
Yes.
they had to, right?
They had to
so
get away
it was
from
the
her.
East one.
Was she good or bad?
The house fell on who? The
Controversial.
good witch
question.
It's the
or the bad
sister-
witch? We'll make it
It's
simple.
the
Good witch
controversial
or the bad
question of
witch?
the day.
Well, I don't think there was a judgment on her whether she was good or bad, just that she was important to the Wicked Witch
Her
of the West.
shoes curled up and dried up. She was the good witch.
This is the natural progression of nature.
If her
We
shoes
don't
curled up,
know.
why was she good then?
Because what happened was she wasn't
Why?
supposed
'Cause
to
if
be
you're
able...
bad, you don't curl
Do you
up?
guys remember the movie? There was a potion or something that was done. Do you know?
No, it's been way too long since I've seen that movie.
Well, the good witch was killed, so they couldn't get back home. So they had to go through a whole maze thing to get a heart and this
They
and
had
that.
to follow the.
They had to follow the yellow brick
There
road.
you go. Follow the yellow brick road.
Yeah, I
What
was
year?
born on that day, 1962, March 19th. Yeah, I was. I was born
It
that
came out
day.
before
The movie maybe
1962.
wasn't made that day. Well, that's the day they made it color. You know, there was a black and white movie.
Yes.
And they brought it to color, right?
Yes.
You guys know
How
that?
could the Ruby Slippers be black and white?
In your lifetime.
No, it wasn't always in color.
In your lifetime, she
Your
said.
lifetime. It used
No,
to
it
be
was
black
made
and white.
color.
The whole thing?
No, some of it, Dawn. What are you going to show? Half a movie?
The beginning was black and white when she's, with Auntie Em and she's in the bed, and then we go to color and we go back to black and white. You
Right,
think
but
the whole
that
thing was black and white?
Yes, it was upgraded. Look it up. No, it was not. Look it up. It was. Look it up. It's true. It was brought up in color. Curly, you know what I'm talking about, right?
I missed that last part.
Everything in
It was
color
not?
was while they were in Oz.
movie was-
because that's the fantasy land.
The
Oz is
movie
good.
was not in color.
Oz
They
is
didn't
in
have
color.
color in 1967.
1939.
Oh, they had color in 1939. Oh, yeah. What, they used crayons?
Lumetri color. That was the
They had what, I'm sorry?
Lumetri color.
Lumetri color.
They put it in a tree? I don't think so. All right, I'm going to look it up at the commercial break.
You have a mic?
Yeah.
Do what my kids do. Somebody ask Siri.
Myra doesn't want to take down, put on ISO so I can go over there, so I'll be over here. It's really cool how they did it. They had to paint for the scenes where it's going from black and white into color. The actual scenery was painted fully black and white, and they had a double for Julie Andrews, painted fully head to toe black and white, her wig, her face, her costume. And so when you see it zooming into Oz all colorful, the double steps back and Julie Andrews steps forward in her full colored garb. The set had to be made in color and black
I
and
will
white
bet
because
you
they
a
couldn't splice
dollar
them.
that movie was color corrected. I will bet you $1 because I remember the news when they said, I think it was Walt Disney
1939?
did it. No, in the 60s or 70s. They actually
Maybe they redid the color.
They redid it. So I always thought, okay, well, black and white, anything is a color from black and white.
Maybe it was color and then they color corrected it.
Was West Side Story the original black and white or in color?
The Addams
Wow,
Family
look at
was
the
in black
faces.
and
I
white.
love it.
I don't know.
Speechless.
The Addams Family was in black and white, and their whole set was pastel pinks and blues.
What about the Munsters? Were they in black and white or in color?
They were
Black
and
and
white.
white.
And they color updated that as well.
I Love Lucy was black and white.
I Love Lucy was black and white, and they colored that as well. Everything gets colored now.
Imagine them coloring us.
No, don't color us.
We were full on color, so that is why we
Black and
played
white
that
is-
song. And we're still in the controversy of who the house fell on.
It
was
fell
the
on the
Wicked
Good
Witch.
Witch.
No, that was Glenda, the Wicked Witch of the East.
No, they fell on the Good Witch.
That's
because
why I
if it
thought
had
Glenda
fallen
was
on
the Good
bad
Witch, but
Glenda's
she
the
wa-
good witch. The Wicked
The
Witch of
house
the
didn't
West
fall
is
on
the bad.
Glenda.
No,
No.
I don't know what she's talking about. She's.
It's a random sister. It's just a random witchy sister and part of the witchy sisterhood.
The Witchy Sisterhood.
I'm going to end this controversy once and for all. I'm going to look Dr. Google. Dr. Google knows everything.
Let's see. Judy Garland, not Julie Andrews. Thank you, Frank. You are correct. Hetty said she's sorry.
And I gotta listen to her. Frank, you would know. Was West Side Story original in color or black and white? Look it up. Let me know.
I think it was black
And
and,
he's going to
white.
look that up as well.
I'm gonna tell you, I love coming to work.
I got to tell you, I love this morning, our morning show when with Sabrina and Bree came in.
That was nice.
Wasn't that sweet? So they brought donuts for you guys. Some of our old producers came in. They're getting ready to graduate from FAU, so they came in to say thank you. Bree said thank you because that program that we were helping her with, she says, has made a tremendous difference in her life.
I hate when you don't see somebody for a long time and they come in
They're all grown up.
and they're gonna leave and you don't know what to do with yourself. I'm looking at my shoes.
You hide.
I don't like saying goodbye.
Is that what it is?
And Sabrina is going to New York, so I'm not gonna see her probably ever again.
What's wrong with you? Of
She's
course
probably
you
gonna
will.
move to New York. She's gonna be on Broadway. I will fly up to see Sabrina on Broadway.
She'll be
She's
back.
at FAU on the stage.
In Wizard of Oz.
And she didn't know either. Oh no, they knew. They told us the answer to the story because they're doing the play.
They knew. That's why today's theme is Wizard of Oz. Follow the yellow brick road. Maybe our next photo shoot we'll do on a yellow brick road.
You're gonna get dressed up with a dog?
I don't know. I
Josh,
could
you
do
would-
anything with
Josh,
Graciela. She
you
makes
would make an
magic
adorable
happen.
Dorothy. I'm just
Josh,
saying.
say
Some
Bow Wow, say
pigtails,
Bow
a
Wow.
basket. We could do
Say
this.
Bow Wow.
Hey, dow, dow.
See? I gotta be the dog. Snoop Dogg over there.
Hey, dow, dow.
You should be playing that. Anyway, I wanted to bring up, I want to do an in-house band. Josh Nickelodeon, who doesn't play, so we'll have to lip sync that. J-Lo plays the drums,
Yeah.
and G-Man sings.
Yes, he does.
Along with C-Square, she sings too.
We'll probably have Baxton as main singer, and then
No.
Avraham as backup.
We can't have Baxton. Because when Baxton sings, he gets mad if you mess up.
Even though he's the one that's messing up.
And he's always messing up.
He's the one messing up.
It's not fair.
always
He's
messing
not
up.
here. He's producing a movie somewhere.
That's why I get away with that.
So you got to be fair to Bax when he comes back.
That's why I get away with that.
So everyone that's new to our audience, our crew is run mostly by, we call them producers, but students from the local universities, from Lynn and FAU. And just when they get to be the peak of so good and perfection,
They
they
leave.
graduate.
Yeah.
And then
Sucks.
they move on, and
should
we
fail 'em all.
and we keep going.
Don't let them
But I
graduate.
told you we were actually asked to be part of the business curriculum. We just got an email today. Would we help put their curriculum together? Which is pretty much an honor, I think, for them to ask us to
It
do
is.
that.
I don't know
I'm
who-
going to give it to you.
Don't give it to me. Don't give it to me.
He's gonna go
You know, when
Todd.
COVID hit and the kids were graduating, they didn't walk. So I had said to Dawn, we have a carpenter, Louis, and I wanted to build like a little ramp so they could walk up and walk down, walk up and walk down. But that never happened either. So this coming Thursday, we're having a graduation party for those that didn't walk, for those that are gonna walk, and for those in the future that are gonna walk. Everybody walks.
But it's
Nice.
amazing to watch them grow up and come back and then teach our new crew. And we've got Elisa and Shay, and they're learning. We've got Rolls Royce, a lot of great
Rolls-Royce.
new
Where
crew
is
coming in. She comes Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I think.
What's today?
Thursday. You're as much like Lola. Lola came on Wednesday today.
Lola confused me completely. I had an appointment with Lola yesterday. She didn't show up, and then I look, and she shows up today.
So this new artwork behind me is by our new in-house artist, Lola Angelini. We're going to talk to her. We've got Graciela and we've got Juliet joining us. Voices
Graciela.
of the Goddess. Graciela did our very first photo shoot back in the day.
My son was with us. Gio was with us.
I got to
He
tell
thought
you.
that was such a trip. That was the first photo shoot we ever did.
It was so much fun. My makeup,
was
my
so
hair,
much
you got to
I
sit
didn't
and
have
watch.
no
You
hat.
had none
I
of
never
that.
want to see those
You
pictures.
had no hat on.
And we had to get the special sparkly gold backdrop
Yes.
because, you know, I'm always about the brand, right? What does the brand need to represent? And Dawn's all about the sparkle, so we had to get the sparkle.
I think that
And
was
then
our.
I think we did a brick background too,
Yes.
for that Brooklyn feel.
I
Look, there's
remember.
our brick background.
We finally caught up to you.
Well, I don't think we'll ever catch up to her. She's in a brand new space. She's in East Fort Lauderdale. It's about, what'd you say, 1,800 square feet
1,800
now?
square feet, yeah.
Wow,
And
the
We're in the
place is
back of a
huge.
clothing
honestly,
store.
I could use another 1,000. Like, you know, give me the space, I will fill it up.
I know, you and me both. When we came in here, I told them, what are you going to do with all this? Now I wish I doubled up.
Yep.
You need double the size.
But more to come. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to talk about Voices of the Goddess, photography, painting, spirituality, and all the goodness we get to do every Thursday right here at the studio. Give us a call, 888-994-4995, Studio A, and we'll be right back.
Known for his Art Deco Cubist style and compositions with dancing saturated color, Ken Bieberman has lived and breathed art his whole life. From the early 80s, he's influenced the Art Deco district of Miami Beach. Featured in numerous restoration projects, hotels, galleries, and clubs, Bieberman creates for everyday folks and celebrity clientele. He's also the proprietor of Art Repro, a giclée and scanning company in Pompano Beach. When it comes to scanning high resolution, size is not an issue. Professionally scanning art up to 10 feet and 64 inches in width, Art Repro utilizes state-of-the-art equipment. On quality canvas or paper, archival ink and printing mediums are put to use. Art Repro ensures colors are true and every nuance of the art is captured, including the canvas weave. Perfection is the priority. Contact artist Ken Bieberman today at 954-547-0095 or visit his website www.artrepro.net.
Being a successful woman in business means having the courage to own who you are. We understand the challenges faced by women, and we are here to help. Our team is here to develop the best strategy designed just for you. Your path is unique, and with the right tools, you can accomplish your dream. From radio to TV, from podcasting to magazines, We create the visibility to amplify your impact in business. At New Dawn Media, we are here to help bring your message forward and help your business flourish. It is time for your message to be seen and your voice to be heard. Contact us at 866-224-5422 or brooklyncafe.tv. Your voice can make a difference.
Le Sorel Restaurant, home of the authentic Italian tradition, offers a large menu that consists of seafood, steak, homemade pasta, brick oven pizza, and homemade desserts including a wide wine selection. We also have the best bar in Boca Raton with delicious cocktails, homemade limoncello, cappuccino, Italian espresso, brandy, and other specialties, open every day with a lunch and dinner menu. For more information or to make a reservation, contact lesorelrestaurant.com or call 561-235-5301.
There is no way to ignore it. You hear it on the news, online, from your friends and family. What happened to my money? Whether it got hit by falling stocks and bonds, with the coronavirus, shrunk by a floundering 401k with low interest rates, and is riding the extreme ups and downs of the stock market with political elections. Many Americans are worried about their money and how they're going to retire. Help protect your financial future now and call J.D. Mellberg for your complimentary book from a leading financial firm that shows you ways not to run out of money whether the market goes up or down. This free book reveals little-known truths about annuity strategies in simple-to-understand terms that can protect your money for a lifetime. As a bonus, we'll also throw in a free annuity rate report summarizing the rates and benefits of annuities from hundreds of top-rated insurers, helping you to find ways to get up to 33% more income in retirement. That's right. 2 books, both absolutely free, for calling J.D. Mellberg. Help protect your financial future.
Call 877-643-3015.
Are you compromising your medical care for doctors out of your network? Are you tired of dealing with referrals to see a specialist? Are you aware that you can save up to $155 a month on your Medicare premiums? You need an all-in-one benefits company that can help with all of your Medicare plan needs. Call today, All-in-One Benefits Group at 954-614-5488. We're here to find an all-in-one plan for you. 954-614-5488. Call today for open enrollment.
Do you have an idea for a show or a podcast? Do you want the opportunity to be on TV? Amp Media Productions is partnered with True Oldies Real Radio Station and powered by many online platforms such as Roku, Facebook, YouTube, and even Amazon Fire to help amplify your impact. Do you want your voice to reach a wide audience? Call us today at 866-224-5422.
South Florida's Good Time Oldies. Now, Boca and Delray Beach have their own oldie station. Catch us on 95.3 FM. It's the greatest rock and roll hits of the 60s and 70s. On South Florida's Good Time Oldies, 95.3 FM.
You've been watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
He likes the bass.
Not for nothing, but every time you play that bass, it sends shivers on my spine because the speaker's right behind me.
You like it?
Oh, I don't know if I like it yet. It's kind of strange.
We're going to announce this now?
Announce it now.
Go ahead.
So at the beginning of the show, you saw that Oldies sent us their brand new, spanking brand new, how to listen to the right radio station, because there were 6.
Correct.
So if you're in different parts of Florida, so you can hear our show, plus Oldies music and everything else. So when you see that play, if you are caller number 3, I'm going to give you 2 passes to Sunfest. $90 tickets. So we have to disclaim this now. Every show that we do, that we're doing this, we send it up, we have to disclaim. So if you call in, what's the number?
888-994-4995, Studio A. Win 2 free passes to Sunfest. What are they, backstage passes?
They're backstage passes.
Nice.
These are VIP tickets.
Any day?
Saturday, May 7th. You know.
I would have to ask you that. I know, May 6th.
May 6th.
Kentucky Derby Day.
Yes, it's okay. There's no horses there. But May 6th, backstage passes. I know that people have been writing to ask if I have them.
Now we do.
So we had a
We just
visitor
got them.
yesterday, and I asked her. She says, "Oh, I could give you 2." So thank you to South Florida Oldies. 95.3 is the
And
one we used to
96.9,
listen.
yep.
And 96.9. Thank you to Jody for giving us these tickets. Again, you have to wait till it plays. Third caller, you win the tickets. And we go.
All
Let's
right,
see if this works.
888-994-4995, Studio A. Give us a call and win those free passes. All right, we got to go chit-chat with our Voices of the Goddesses.
I'm really intrigued about that name. Where did it
Voices of
come
the Goddess.
from?
We've
How
got
is it developed? The whole nine.
Julieta Wenzel and our good friend Graciela Valdez.
Julieta
But you
and
go by
Graciela.
Laurent.
Graciela Laurent.
Laurent, sorry.
And Juliet?
Julieta.
Julieta?
It's
Julieta.
like Alouetta.
Like
Alouetta.
Julieta, but gringa style.
Remember Alouetta, that song?
Wisconsin.
That was a song.
Alouetta.
But she's Julieta. Don't confuse
Julieta.
me.
Well, welcome, ladies.
Thank you for having
Thank you
us.
for
It's
having
so
us.
awesome to see you guys again. It's been so long.
Oh
so
my God,
long.
it's been a minute.
And Freddie said a couple weeks ago, I really have to reach out to Graciela. And I said, go. You must have sent out a newsletter
Yeah.
or
I'm
something.
on your newsletter.
Yeah. I
And
think like every once a week, I think I send out a newsletter. I'm
And
surprised
she-
you recognize me, my friend. I'm all gray now. You know, back in the day it was all brown, but the pandemic, I went ahead and let the gray grow. And
I got to tell you, what intrigued me was the word goddess. Because yesterday we had another goddess, right?
Dr. Mandy.
Dr. Mandy, and so that week I must have hit every goddess thing that came along. I said, wow, look at this. Kind of pushing the things, the echelons in the. So where'd you come up with the name? How did you come up with that?
Well, the funny thing is, originally we were going to call it Wonder Women, and then a lawyer came along and said, "You don't want to fight that battle." So, Graciela was not my original co-host; it was another friend of mine.
Well, this is a podcast, correct?
It is a podcast, and but all women are goddesses, and we all need to wake up to the fact that we're all goddesses, and that's what the show is about: is helping people find their voice and be free to be their authentic self.
So I have to ask you, why do you think all women are goddesses?
What's there to think about? We are. We are.
But we have a younger demographic here, so I'm wondering, they're probably thinking, well, what does that mean?
It can mean a lot of things to people. I know sometimes we get some negativity, like people think that we're talking about worshiping, and this isn't a religion. It's not about church, but it's about truly honoring the woman that you are. And we've lived in this very patriarchal society for way too long, and it's time for women to step up and use their voice, and let's make this world a little bit more loving and nourishing and nurturing.
And we always talk about like the divine feminine, right? Like, what does that mean? It means using every part of your femininity to pull out your true self, right? Like we always say that the goal of our podcast is to help you find that magic that's already within you, to help you be your authentic self. And that to me is the ultimate goal, like to be your true self. Like one of the gifts of getting older, and hold tight 20-year-olds, it's coming, but like is as soon as you hit your next decade, man, you just feel a little bit more free and a little bit more smart until you're like pushing 50 and now you don't care about it.
Well, I was
Right?
going to ask you that. Do little things annoy you now?
No.
They don't.
Never.
Not even a little thing. Not even when someone
Just
says
this
something.
morning.
Graciela, they want you to hold your mic closer.
Sure. Just this morning, I was laughing because
You can take it out of the stand.
You take it
somewhere
out.
like around 4:45 in the morning, the emergency broadcast thing went out, whatever, and everybody's all on Facebook and they're all freaking out and so angry that this thing. I mean, how angry do you have to be to get on Facebook to complain about being woken up for 5 seconds at 4:45 in the morning? I didn't even remember that it happened.
I think it was they were afraid it was a missile attack because that was the early detection system. It wasn't somebody lost.
Okay, but that's because that's what you have in here. Do you see what I mean?
The fear?
So yeah, I think you will find what you're looking for. I think if you're looking for terrible things, you're gonna see terrible things, and I think if you look for amazing things, you're gonna see amazing things. That's what I think. So at the end of the day, our podcast is to show you that everything you need is already inside of you. You know, we're always trying to look for it somewhere else, but it's already there. You just need permission. It's just a decision. Be great.
And does it change as we get older?
I think it's easier as we get older, no?
I think so.
I think you get better at it because what slows you down is you don't believe in it. If you don't believe in it, it gets harder to swim in the waters. But once you believe it, and once you begin to live it, then you can start sharing it because I can see it, I can sense it, I can feel it. I love the word goddess. You know, men have a different approach towards that word than women with women approach. I'm sorry to tell you, you got a harder time with women accepting that fact than men. Men see it, they look at mom. There's no denying. You ain't gonna ever say something against mom. Just not gonna do it.
I was gonna ask you, how do you feel we always have women on the set, but the past 2 days, we've had highly powerful women who talk about being your authentic self, step into who you are. What do you think about impressed?
I spoke to my sister yesterday and she says, I like what you're doing. And my sister's a real tough nut. I'm gonna tell you, don't mess with my sister. She'll tell you straight up the truth. But what yesterday's show did and today's, and Lola's here as well, and she says, you keep pushing them because the object of the game here is that, you know, men have messed up the world for a long time. We should give somebody else a chance.
To mess
and
it
change
up.
it up. Not to mess it up, but let's change up a little bit. Maybe we got to the moon because of 5 women. If you saw the movie, it's the truth of the nature of the beast. But men will see the word goddess and they will accept it more than your compadres. The women to women is a bigger challenge.
You know, we've known Graciela a long time, and the one thing I've always been so impressed with you is you are true to who you are, authentic, your authentic self. You don't care whether your studio was in the back of the first store that it was. We were in a studio that was this big at the time. But you always embrace who you are, and you get up and you embrace your change of hair color, what you're wearing, how you're sitting. You don't care. You just want to do what feels right to you.
I will say, I don't know if I don't care. Maybe that's a little too loose, right? Because if I really didn't care, then I'd be wearing what I wore straight out of bed, right?
Okay.
So I do care. I do care. But I am no longer concerned with other people's opinions about me, right? And that maybe is the I don't care part, right? And I don't even mean it to be dismissive. I just mean that you're entitled to your experience and I'm entitled to my experience, right? Like your experience of me is not my responsibility. I'm okay with that.
That's right.
And back to your point about men, it's really interesting. So we looked at our statistics. You know, Julieta's the numbers girl, and she always looks to see who's listening and where they are and all that. We have listeners all over the globe, which is really crazy. We're like in the top 10% of podcasts. But what's crazy is the number of men that listen to our show.
I told you.
And we really thought it was going to be, you know, by women, for women, about women. But our messages are really gender neutral. They really are, you know, and we've had men on the show and they've added incredibly. So I love men too, you know, like it's definitely it's not about bringing down the man. It's about bringing up women, bringing up men, and so that we can all be balanced in our energies, right?
You know, men need that balance. You know that, right? Men need balance. That's why Mama Sang, your mom is such a big deal in your life. Don't mess with my mother. You ever heard that line? Don't say nothing about my mother. Men want to be balanced, but we're too egotistical to say it. So you're going to have more women doing your show, watching your show, more men.
Well, and just the whole planet is out of balance right now.
It is.
And men have been in charge for so long, and they haven't been able to restore the balance.
They have.
And so it's time for us women to step up and stop doing the blame game, because women for so long have been blaming the men. Stop blaming them. The reason they're doing things the way they are is because they're hurt. They've been damaged. They don't know any better. We need to step up, bring love to the game, bring nurture, bring kindness, and watch the world shift.
I think we all need to stop blaming everyone and take some accountability, right? Whether we
Stop
think
playing
we're blaming a
victim.
man or, right, stop playing victim and just step into your power, as Mandy said, be your authentic self and don't dumb it down.
You know,
Play bigger.
We had some ladies in here yesterday, and I was talking to Dawn after the show, and it's not even about play bigger, fill the role. You know, being a leader is a 24/7 job. And some people says, I don't want to be a leader. Well, you know what, too bad. You're going to be viewed that way. It is what it is. And like you say, it doesn't matter the way they view me and what have you. But play the role, do the role, and see what happens, because you never know who's listening. You never know your words of encouragement. We've known people on the show over the years that have committed suicide. Remember that? And I vowed to myself I would never lose another soul. I said to myself. So women, men, the balance is there. But I'm glad I bought my first light kit from your friend. Remember when we did the show and he came in, he had lights?
Yep, yep.
I bought my first light kit from your guy.
Well, one of the things that a friend said to me once, and you know, we were talking this morning that nothing's new. Everything that we're saying has been said before, but sometimes you have to hear it a different way to get the message. So we don't mind repeating it. And one of my favorite things to repeat is the better you treat yourself, the more it gives other people, other women, permission to do the same. And that to me has opened so many doors. I can't tell you how many one-liners women have said to me that have literally changed the course of my life. And it doesn't take much, right? So like when you say play your role and do your part really can just be being your best self.
Sure.
You know, I think Julietta, I'm going to quote Julietta now because she's got such a great one. I got to put this on a mug. Will be copyrighted. If you would just love yourself, if the only thing you did was love yourself, the world would be healed. It'd be done.
True that.
You know?
That's very true. Yesterday we had Mandy in here, and I've had her on the show at the radio station, and we've had her up. And Mandy is a preacher. She's a pastor. And when she speaks like a pastor. She speaks from a place of authority.
And passion, yeah.
And passion. But she's smart and she's quick. Just like, you know, I love to hear how the two of you speak, because in it brings impact. So that wording, a line, just a thought of the day, all of that is impressive. And I've been impressed all week. And I'm glad that Lola's here today, because Lola is kind of shy, she says.
You know, we had 2 women in yesterday in the luxury travel industry.
Oh, forget about it.
Talking
That's going to
about-
blow the lid off the house.
And then this morning, the big news was, now we've got pilots back, there's a problem with air traffic and getting the planes and getting people where they need to go and gas, but people are going to start traveling again. But it's post-pandemic, not that you're traveling again, but you want to travel in a way that you want to embrace who you are. You don't want to sit and go through all those discounting apps, right? At a certain point in life, you say, I'm going to make this trip. I'm going to buy the business like JoJo did. I'm going to get a bigger studio because this is how I want to play bigger. This is how I want to live my life. But maybe that comes with age and you want to do that. So I was telling these ladies, your demographic is the women and men who say, I want to live my best life. I've learned from the pandemic, and if it's another 1,000, 2,000, at that price point, you want to live it the way you want to live it, right? We're not going to blame Expedia because you didn't get the 4 stars or whatever it is. It's a totally different perspective, right? You're just playing to a larger feel for yourself.
And we each get to have our experiences in whatever way it feels good to you, right? So I don't mind spending $8 on a latte because that feels good to me. But I will not spend $12 on a tuna sandwich because I don't want to. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm one of those people that money for me is easy come, easy go. I'm sure my financial advisor, my bookkeeper, and accountants are all, you know, getting heart palpitations right now. But, you know, for me, it's energy, it's flow, and you put it where it feels good to you, and you receive it the way it should.
She sounds like you.
But she's right.
We got new lights in, we got new things in because of the things that make you in flow.
Well, the object of the game is that, you know, you can deliver a message. It's not always about money. You can deliver a message and you want it to be felt. Listen, I'm surrounded by kids from college. And I wish I had somebody show me the ropes when I was their age. My son Gio spent, he says, Dad, they don't understand the gift they have. They got to embrace it and understand it because you're giving them every chance for them to be them. But this them that they've never seen before could be fantastic at an early age.
I have to tell you, though, one of our producers, her dad texted me the other day, texted us, thanking us for the opportunity that we've given her for the past year, and how he said, you don't know how lucky you are to have had your first opportunity with Dawn and Freddie as like pseudo-parents when we're away to bring them into this family. And Avraham's dad just said the same thing, so thank you very much and congratulations on his graduation. Because they come in young and new and as single as in a person, and they leave here with a family surrounding them, right? And love and everything. There, even Josh said, can we have a snack drawer like it's like at home? We can have a snack drawer, we have a snack table, whatever you want. But it's a family. But
and that's our podcast. We do things different than a lot of other companies. I mean, the place is different. Everything about this place is different. But this is just a design of their personalities.
But I'm so impressed with you because I watch you over the years, like quiet, like you don't even know who's watching right when you're on social media. And Juliet, it's a pleasure to meet you. But I watch you grow, and I watch you with Julia, and your hair change, and your studio grow, and
thank you.
And from the photographer we met you to an entire brand you do now of marketing, and you've got meetups and networking events.
Yeah, it's been really fun, having this. I did events at the old studio. The old studio was 800 square feet. Now it's 1,800 square feet. And so my studio, for those that haven't been, it doesn't look like your typical photo studio. It's not just white walls and big bright lights. As a matter of fact, I kind of treat it like like a spa. I hide all the dark equipment in the back so that it doesn't have to be scary when you walk in. And it's all velvet couches and gold walls and lots of artwork. Not as much as this. This is amazing. I wish I had the space for this in here. But I really wanted to create a community. I had so many clients that would tell me the same story. I'm from out of town. I came here to work. I don't know anyone, and I just thought to myself, all of my clients, if they would just meet each other, they would have the community they're looking for. And so I started hosting film nights where we play a film and then we have a discussion afterwards. We would do, I call them speakeasy nights. I call it old lady happy hour because I get to play the music at a low level so I can hear the person next to me. That's how I know I've aged out of bars. Sorry, you guys enjoy it. Go have fun. Use all of your hearing range. Mine's not there anymore. But it's really incredible to me that every time I host an event, someone comes up to me and says, thank you for doing this. Thank you so much for doing this. I've been locked in my house since the pandemic. I haven't been out. I haven't done anything. So grateful to have this opportunity, And so along those lines, Julietta and I, as an offshoot from our podcast, and we haven't even scratched the surface as to how magical Julietta is, but she's the magical PT. She's a physical therapist, and she has a very healing just way of being. But we're putting together a retreat. So we're not ready to release all the details yet, but there will be a retreat for the goddesses. And it's going to be time to find that divine feminine, to create that community, because we have to grow together. Right? I mean, what you guys are doing is stories, right? This is how we learn. This is how we connect with each other, is through story. So let's create our own stories.
But you're helping people share their voices. And I want to ask Julietta, when you started the podcast, you had a different partner. What was
we started
vision?
in the pandemic, like everybody. There's a lot of us in the community that we're entrepreneurs. We own our own businesses, and they're typically small businesses. And this pandemic hits, and we're all like in a panic, like, how are we going to survive this? And so my friend and I just decided to start this podcast to promote each other. And then life kind of got back to normal, whatever that is. But the messages that were coming back about the podcast, it's like, it needs to continue. And it's just a safe space for women to become goddesses. We live out there in the 3D world, this mechanical and do life. And women just need that support, that it's okay, it's safe for you to be the goddess that you are. And my prior co-host, she had to leave because her work situation completely shifted, and she just didn't have the time to do this anymore. And so then I was sitting in the space like, do I keep doing this by myself? And Graciela is always like my ear when I'm talking through things. And I made up the story that she was too busy to be able to help me. And when Allison officially decided that she was not going to be on the show anymore, I'm like, well, maybe Graciela will do it. I was afraid to ask her, and I asked her, and she was like, well, funny thing that you asked, because I was about to volunteer because I could see you needed somebody. And she's just the perfect person to take this forward from, when we started, we had no idea what we were doing. A podcast? I have no idea.
But what you said is so important. You made up in your head that she was going to say, no, she's too busy. And that, to me, is like this golden nugget that you just said, because we all do that. We all answer the question for somebody else before we even ask it. Right? You assume that she was going to say no, and we all do that. I'm sure they all assume that their teacher's going to say this, or their boyfriend or girlfriend's going to react this way until you ask.
And what's ironic is that at the same time, I was having the thought, wow, maybe I should offer to be on her show. But who am I? Who am I to be great? Who am I to offer something like that? Am I going to force her to feel obligated, right? Like all the self-doubts.
But you're going to know.
And what's really great is that the prior co-host, Allison, had also been having the same independent thought, thinking, maybe Graciela should jump in, maybe she would be a good co-host, So to me, like, this is how the universe works, right? The initial intuition, what comes into your mind, that's the truth. It's your brain that's the jerk. Your brain, write this down, children. The brain is the one that's going to talk you out of all the fun stuff because it's trying to keep you alive, right? Don't do this. This might happen. Don't do this. Stay alive. It's the evolutionary process. But if you stick to your intuition, you'll always win. You'll always win.
It's a huge
Well,
message.
it's the brain, and then there's also the outside noise. You and I have a very similar story. When I started in this business 18 years ago, it was the Freddie Fix-It show. And I needed a co-host, so I brought in my son, Freddie. And then we brought in somebody else. And we did this for a while, and it wasn't working. So we went into something else, and I met this guy named Les. And I started Two Boys from Brooklyn. And I said, Les, this isn't working either. We are at iHeart. So I said, why don't we do Two Boys from Brooklyn and a broad? That didn't work either. We went through 11 broads. And then I met this one. And for 4 years, I had asked Dawn to work with me. And I got no answer, and no. Everything was no. So she was going to do a show for somebody else that I was producing. And I told that person, you ain't doing nothing in radio unless she comes and does my show. And she did. And she did another one. And she stayed. Here it is almost 9 years later. And the funny thing is I still ask Dawn, why'd you make me wait 4 years? From coaches to friends to this to that to her brain, I got nothing to say. Who the hell has nothing to say? Everybody has something to say. And we do this for a living. And every day, I always end the meeting when they say, well, I'm not ready, maybe tomorrow. It's a shame that I believe more in you than you believe in yourself. Because you can't fail at something if you don't try. And I don't know how you can live thinking and seeing that every day, because if you don't want to do it, is one thing. If you want to do it, but you're afraid to do it, it's another.
We spend a lot of time convincing our guests that they are more than worthy of being on the show. And everybody has a different way of expressing things. And it's been so funny to me that a lot of the shows that felt like a struggle to me, the interview was a little bit difficult. And those are the shows that someone will send me an email. Thank you for that show. It said exactly what I needed to hear that day, and it was the best show ever. And I'm always like, I'm glad you think that, because it was a struggle for me, but someone out there needed to hear that message, and everybody has something to say that someone needs to hear.
How does that make you? I know we have to go to commercial, but how does it make you both feel that you're making a difference in so many people's lives?
That's why we do it.
I mean, for me, that's your ikigai, right? Your life's purpose. And I think whether you believe it or not, I think that is the truth. I think we are created and made to support each other and to move things forward. And so when I get great feedback and when we hear that it makes a difference and when we fill up this retreat, like it's aligned. It's the purpose. It's the whole reason. So I feel like I'm living authentically. That's my highest value.
That's the second time I've heard this word this week.
All week. And how do we find your podcast?
It's basically everywhere. Obviously iTunes, Spotify. We are on YouTube. So when we recording live video, everybody can see it. But once a week, a new episode is released on all the podcast platforms that are out there. So wherever you like to listen to podcasts, you can find Voices of the Goddess.
Voices of the Goddess.
I love
Check it
that.
out.
That's a book ready to happen.
All right, check it out. We're going to go to commercial break. Ladies, thank you so much, Graciela and Julieta. It seems to be the message of the week. Find your authentic self. Step into your power. Don't let your brain overspeak your intuition. When we come back, we're going to talk to in-house artist Lola Angelini. She's here. New pieces of art hanging on our walls. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Your True Oldies Listener's Guide. Listening in the Palm Beaches? That's 95.9 FM. On the Treasure Coast? You want 106.9 FM. In Boca? It's 95.3 FM. We've got Fort Lauderdale and Broward County covered with 96.9 FM. And you can always hear us anywhere at TrueOldiesFLA.com.
Born in Marseille, France, Max Lazega creates whimsical and free-flowing interpretive art. His 40 years in the construction industry created the foundation for his craft. His unique work displays his view of the future with bold and playful combinations of materials and processes, but the methodology remains consistent. He fuses recycled materials and discarded building supplies into a fresh, well-executed approach. Lazega has lived in Miami, Florida most of his life, where he pursues his lifelong passion of creating industrial art. For more information, contact Max Lazega at artworkstudios.org or 786-326-8873.
Meet Jay Harmon, one of the many artists held in the Brooklyn Cafe Gallery. Jay specializes in various different art styles, but his medium to work with is colored pencils. His unique style comes from being self-taught and years of practice. Jay pulls his inspiration from many outlets like people, television, celebrities, and many more. With multiple original pieces, Jay's art graces the gallery with over 40-plus works for viewing and for purchase. His many years of being an artist has given him a chance to partner with the Derwent brand, giving him the opportunity to try many different work styles and further his craft. Feel free to come down and visit the studio to view his work. Or if you're interested in your own Jay Harmon original, he's open to commissions on his website, coloredpencilartist.com. Or catch his show, The Colored Pencil Artist, on Amp Media Productions on YouTube and Facebook. See you soon.
What would you do if you had a broken bone? You'd go to the doctor and use your insurance, right? What would you do if you had a serious problem with drugs and alcohol? Most people do nothing until it's too late. Your insurance can help you get clean and sober with the assistance of a place like the Detox and Treatment Helpline. Many times treatment is fully covered, so why not use your insurance to treat your addiction problem just like you would if you had a broken bone? And with the Family Medical Leave Act, you're allowed by law to take off time from work, and your employer doesn't need to know the reason. So there are two good reasons. You've got insurance you can use for your addiction problem, and with the Family Medical Leave Act, it's completely confidential. Call us right now and save a life.
Call 855-350-4504. That's 855-350-4504. Call 855-350-4504 now.
Want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call, because the best prices are not online. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at ridiculously low prices. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner. Call today and get the best price on your next flight, guaranteed. Also, save up to 50% off business and first class tickets.
Would you like to hear better for as little as 10 cents a day? Now you can with the all-new Audion hearing aids. The average hearing aid lasts about 3 years. Ours, at only $99 a pair, means you're paying as little as 10 cents a day to hear better. And to make things even better, we'll give you a 45-day money-back guarantee. Skip the doctor and get hearing aids delivered straight to your door. We've eliminated all the middlemen to offer you a factory direct price of only $99 a pair. Join over 300,000 people just like you who took advantage of our 45-day trial offer. Now you can hear better too for just 10 cents a day. Call now and order your $99 pair of Audion hearing aids with a 45-day money-back guarantee. Plus, get free 3 to 5 day shipping.
800-259-1328. 800-259-1328. 800-259-1328. That's 800-259-1328.
Artist Rosie Sherman paints her passions to share with everyone. Expressing herself through bold and vibrant colors, her suggestion and style are always in flux. Inspired by travels, nature, romance, and the human spirit, Rosie makes sure her depiction of women are strong and proud. Her landscapes illustrate the changing seasons in the diverse world that we live in. To find her artwork in the multiple medias you can purchase, visit rosiesherman.pixels.com.
Brand new shows, only on AMP2 TV. We have All-in-One Insurance, Latin Hustle con Karen, Meta Magazine Show, Pitch 2 Production, The Florida Love Show, The Sixth Borough, Meet the Experts, Reinvented Life, Lights in the Night, and The Hangout. Tune in so you don't miss these amazing new shows. Only on AMP2 TV.
You've been watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
And we're back. This is our new producer. This is Elisa Keating joining us from Lane University. Welcome to the set. Having fun? Welcome to the Freddieism. Got Freddie on the other side with Lola Angelini and this new art piece right behind me. Lola, you know what? I put up the bird, the hummingbird, I guess, on the image. But right behind me, to me, it looks like that's almost a bird in the white. I don't know whether it is or not.
That's not a bird.
But in my mind, it looks like there's a white bird surrounded like with beautiful flower. Tell us about this piece.
Well, what I love about abstract art, everybody can
See something else.
Yeah, something else, whatever you have on the inside. This piece particular is my meditation piece, and I feel like first I choose the colors before the meditation, and I just start like layering them. And I imagined, like, let's say you are sitting in your chair, and instead of your feet being placed on the floor, they're being placed in the core of the planet. And your head is in the middle of the universe. And your inner self, your body, is expanding. And it's filled with, you have no borders, you have stars all over you. You have no physical body. And this is the piece, this is the creation of explosion of you, the star, and pretty much in alignment with this lady goddesses, you know, just feeling that spaciousness, this beauty, the spark, the unlimited color explosion, yeah, is being born. Like, we are all stars. And Freddy is another universe next to you, having the same. His feet is facing the core of the planet.
I
And
hope
so
you
on.
named this one. Tell her the name of the painting.
Yeah, he named it. I like to ask people what you see and give your interpretation. It's kind of fun exercise. So I asked Freddie, and he said "Birth of a Soul."
Ah, I was wondering where the name came
It's
from.
kind of along the same, yeah.
Freddie,
Right.
why do you think it's Birth of a Soul?
Because when she showed it to me, that's the first thing that came to my head. And she said, what would you call it? It's the birth of a soul. You know, souls are birthed every day. Sometimes they get bigger and they get more potent, and sometimes they retract, which is when you have to feed them. I think that her art, did you see the girls that came in
Yeah.
today? They were mesmerized by the art.
One of the
It's
girls said to
wonderful.
Freddie, Freddie, I think you should buy me that for graduation. Correct?
I don't remember hearing that, but okay, doesn't surprise me. She said 3 of them, not one.
Oh, she wanted 3 of them?
1, 2, 3, yes. Going from right to left.
It's all about energy. I mean, we discussed this painting. It's the spirit being born out of the muddy waters, out of the lotus flower that is growing in the muddy waters. Muddy waters is a metaphor for life. We're all growing out into this beautiful, authentic selves, and she's connecting to the source. She's ecstatic. She's the goddess. And the next piece with the orange sun, I title it Rebirth. And I guess it's, I would say, metaphorical of cycle of life, beginning and end of life, beginning of day, beginning, end of the day, and so on. And the splash, this surreal splash in front of the serene landscape could be interpreted as life itself. It's beautiful, it's active, it's vibrant, it's always kind of in a flux mood. So
You have a lot of your art has to deal with the soul, with the earth, with the spirit of things, which is what I love about it. Michelangelo, didn't he do something with the fingers?
Get out of my head.
Yeah. Thank you for telling me.
I told you that last week, and 2 of them look like that to me. Where Michelangelo, you know, when God is reaching his hand out and the fingers are connecting. I see that in this green one with the sun, and the purple, the nebulous as well, because you can, to me, in my mind, they join together in this touch of explosion, whether it be space or the sun or the waters. It's how you bring it forward. But that's the beautiful, right?
Yeah.
Abstract art.
I like what you see.
And you were supposed to have this yesterday, but I think that it's more fitting to have the goddesses come in here.
Yeah.
And I mean, there are no
Universe kind of
accidents. This is
connected
really
us.
strange.
Yeah.
And
Right,
so,
because this piece is truly a goddess rising out of the lotus flower, right? Out of the muddy water. I feel like this is not your podcast is Muddy Water, but you help women, people, become the goddess that they are, right? The voices of the one goddess from the muddy waters and be their authentic selves. I feel like this represents everything we just talked about.
Absolutely. And Freddie, it's not strange. It's perfect. It's aligned. This is how the universe works.
I know this
You have to
is.
stop being surprised.
Well, no, I'm not. You know what it is? When you've been doing it so long, when we came here and COVID hit, Dawn and I sat down, we looked at each other, and we had nowhere to go. What were we had just signed the lease, and everything shut down. So what we like to do is, we were fortunate enough to get Lola to come in here. I said to Lola, you got to come. I said, 5 days, I need you to paint. Don't stop painting. And she hasn't stopped painting, but that's the rebirth. And that's what I feel that after COVID we're going through right now. She's a big part of that.
I also feel like the world, we are also bombarded with the external, like, you know, media and all blah, 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 all the noise. And all my paintings are very spiritual and going inward. You can see the painting on the very far, it's oneness, we all one. We have to see each other as particle, a cell of one organism. The next painting is called Samadhi, and this is the ultimate state of awakening and blissful state of mind. Like, there is a lot of mental illnesses in the world because we are not connected with our inner self. So that's what my paintings is about, going deep within. They're very meditative in nature, contemplate, see what it is, just meditate. And I think the solution, I mean, I'm not, like Sadhguru or something, but the solution to everything is meditation, going deep inside into your authentic self, into your goddess, and feel the power, feel like we are expansive, the universe is within us.
Got to get rid of the noise. There's so much noise around that I love the way you just explain the meditation. Josh, that looks beautiful.
It's funny because they were talking about the third eye. If you look at one of her paintings, has the eye. Yesterday, that's what they were talking about. And they were all mesmerized on that one piece. And when you have 6, 7 people in a room and everybody's looking at one thing and you're looking at them saying, what the hell are they talking about? So I changed positions today because I wanted to see, because I know that Lola's going to talk about the art. And all of Lola's art here is for sale. Everything is for sale. And you have a business or anything else, you should come down and check it out. And I switched seats on purpose because I call her Curly. I want to get her feelings. She's new. She's only been here 2 weeks. Yeah. And I wanted to get her feeling as to what's going on around you. So welcome to the show.
Thank you.
How do you feel seeing, you've been here all week and you've been hearing
Mm-hmm.
some of the things that are going on. How do you feel?
I think that it's a very diverse show because I feel like everyone that comes in, they all have something different to bring. Like with Ms. Angelini, it's the amazing artwork. And then our 2 other guests, it's just their different outtakes on life and how they see like this bigger power inside of people. So I feel like everyone that comes, they bring something so unique to them, and then being able to just hear and experience what they've been through and what they've been able to teach through people, it's not something that you can learn just in class, sort of say, since I'm about to graduate, it's not something you can learn there. So just being here, it's a completely different experience every day. It's always something new.
I was going to ask you, did you learn any, when you're going through school, you're graduating in 2 weeks. Have you been in a real studio to get a feel for what you learned from the books to work?
So in school, I have been in front of the camera and underneath the studio lights and the LED backdrops. But the one thing I never learned was soundboards, any of like the technological aspects behind it. So that is the one thing that I can say I'm like, okay, that I never would have learned if I didn't come here. But I feel like everything that I've learned, y'all are allowing me to finally put into motion to give myself a like deeper foundation.
What do you think about the messages, the power of media?
I think media is unbelievably powerful. As we all know, the media can either help or hurt someone so much, especially with fake news. And I think that a lot of people, they lose their trust in the media and in journalism because they don't know what to believe. They don't know who they can believe. So I feel like that the next wave, myself included, it's almost our job and our mission to rewrite journalism and what media really is.
I love that.
I love this generation. Somebody add in a round of applause. I love her already.
Yes.
So I have a question for her. What is something that you have learned about yourself by being in this environment? Because this is totally different than your day-to-day, right? So what is something you learned about yourself by being in here?
I would have to say the biggest thing, I'm a lot more capable of things than I truly believe I am. I was very, very reserved for the longest time. And I just, whenever the end of high school and coming into college, was like, all right, no more of that. But being here and being able to do such hands-on work, I now know that I have the potential to do nearly anything. Not nearly, I know that I can do anything that's going to get thrown at me.
Is that amazing in 2 weeks?
Amen. Freddie and Dawn changing lives all day long.
Well, I gotta tell you that they gotta say yes, I can. That's what we're all about. Now she has a hidden secret that we haven't even unveiled yet. She does something that the other producers are going to be learning.
You know what you're going to say?
Little by little. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. And I got to tell you, what she does is the livelihood of our business. We haven't even unveiled that yet because she's so good at different things, and we're throwing her at different things just to keep her occupied. It's the same thing I try to do with Mr. Josh. Keeping him occupied is the hardest thing of the day because his mind is so fast. He gives you the shoulder. That was nothing. Moving on. It's not true. You saw today with Mayor doing sound and everything else. But just like every artist in here has a different version, a different story to bring, so do the producers. And the trick is to be able to staple into every one of their creative minds and to make it work, just like the goddesses. But we're going to be announcing really, really soon, maybe next week, as to what her forte is, which is different than everybody else in here. They can do it, but she's actually done it. And she knows what I'm talking about because we talked about this intensely. So you gotta pay attention, boys and girls.
But she pays attention, and Shay, you can see the difference of some of this new crew because they're in it and they get the message, because media is powerful. We've seen what happened this week on the news, right? The noise, the
Don't
fake
be a
news,
fox.
whatever you want to believe in. But the media has the power for good and for not so good. And I love that you said if we can rewrite actually the messages that we're sharing. And you ladies are rewriting the messages for women. And Lola, you're rewriting through art, right? Through creative space, whether it be through voice, through photography, through painting. There's different ways to communicate what we feel. And if you can resonate and you put all these pieces together, imagine we could change the world, as you said.
I also want to mention that you can really get all the news from your inner antenna if you're like meditating and you're practicing.
Inner antenna?
Yes.
My favorite Martian.
You really, like every news channel has an agenda, and we all know that by now. And you can just identify the person by what channel he or she is watching. But if you have your internal antenna hooked up and your third eye is open, and you can just feel everything. You can read the person's matrix, like everything what the person knows, feels, watches. I'm sure you guys understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, everything you're saying makes total sense. You know, I wanted to go back to one of your earlier points about how everybody's coming with their own specialties. And during a lot of the unrest that we had around the George Floyd death and whatnot, I was feeling very guilty, like, you know, should I be out there protesting? And then it was the middle of COVID and I was scared to protest because I didn't want to be in large crowds. And, you know, and I had this one friend who said, you do what's in your zone of genius. Do what's good for you, right? In times of crisis, there are people that thrive on the front lines. In times of crisis, there are people that thrive by painting and bringing messages forward, or, you know, war photography and journalism, showing you the truth of what's happening out there, right? Or music, you know, and everybody hears messages differently. Not everybody interprets art. Some people interpret sound, some people, right? So every role that we have to play is an important role. And I appreciate that so much, you know.
Yeah, everyone has a gift, and what you see through the lens, and Julietta, what you do through touch, right? All of these are the senses that we learned as kids, the sight, see, smell, touch, but they're all important, right? And how we bring it forward for other people to live through your vision, through your touch, and then you put it to the canvas.
But
It's
that's
a gift
why
that
it's
you
so
and I,
different.
it's art, the gift that we get to witness
That's
every
why
day.
it's so different. You're taking a lot of different elements
Yeah.
that work and you're putting them in one test tube.
You know,
And
there's
your
nothing like
production is
the art of
fantastic.
touch.
Yeah.
You know, physical therapy, massage, what that is. And never underestimate what you go through when you, not only are you helping the person, but you're getting things that come to you that aren't always so pure and clean, and what you have to go through physically for yourself to protect some energies. There's a lot that goes into what you do.
Yeah, and it's not just the physical. I am a physical therapist, but one of the biggest problems I see in healthcare out there is it tries to separate the human into all these different parts. And all the physical parts work together, but those physical parts also work with the mind, the heart, the soul.
Yeah.
And so if you're not looking at those things, I mean, there are literally days that clients come in and I don't do anything physical to their body. Everything that happens is on an emotional, energetic, spiritual level.
It's
so
frequency. It's your frequency.
And I think that's why so many people aren't healing out there, because our medical system tries to splinter everything into parts, and we don't work that way. We don't function that way. You have to treat the whole.
It's true. I was talking to my mom last night, and she's in physical therapy. And she says, they have me trying to walk over cones without holding on. I can't walk over a cone without holding on. So that's the physical side of it. If they actually address the emotional side of what's going on, of why she says she can't, we'd be in a whole different conversation at
Absolutely.
that moment. And so what you're offering as a physical therapist is tremendous. And I hope you can share your information, because you're just not your regular physical therapist.
She's the magical PT.
Yes,
Right.
they call me the magical PT. If you want to find me there, it's bodyandsoul-pt.com. And, my hope is that one day healthcare will shift and start looking at the whole. And, it's interesting because they love evidence-based medicine.
It's a whole nother podcast, yes.
And, yeah. But science is catching up to start to understand, like they used to think that acupuncture meridians were just made up, and now they can actually image them and see that they are real. And the different energy, like, it's coming out. People are starting to be able to prove it for the people that aren't able to just embrace it and accept it.
People need
It's
to see it.
interesting because we talked about diabetes and we talked about my sugars and how I've gotten my sugars down, and there is a formula and it does work, and it does work with medicine, but it works with a lot here, here, and here. Really simple. And if you can follow the program and don't lie to yourself, look in that mirror, you can actually beat diabetes. It's just, you got to want to do it.
What I love about Julietta, you're never going to believe this story. So I first went to her as a client because my knees were hurting, right? I had been pregnant. I had done marathons. I had twins, right? Like, my body was tired. And I went with my knees, and I figured, I don't know what she could possibly do to them, whatever. So my mom has had knee replacements. My grandmother had knee replacements. I thought, this is my future, I lay down, and she says to me, did you have a C-section? Now, mind you, I was fully clothed, and I said, yeah, I did. She goes, that's why your knees hurt. And she zaps my C-section scar, and my knee stopped hurting. And I thought, wow, no one has ever treated my entire body that way.
Wow.
I mean, I'm not even talking about, the emotional side of it. I love crying. I don't know how everybody feels about it, but I enjoy a good cry. It releases everything. I can go to Julietta's space and know that it is safe to just, let some stuff out, leave it at the table. But what she does is so different and so not a 15-minute quickie session. I don't know how your mom is experiencing physical therapy. I hope it's in a loving environment. I've seen it where it's 10 people in a room. You got 7 minutes before the insurance runs out. Who can heal like that?
But Julietta, you're a special soul because you're intuitive. You knew what she needed.
Well,
I don't think you learned that a C-section scar hurt your knees.
You have to learn to
in
have
school.
a conversation with the body, because I don't know what anybody's body needs. The only one that knows what you need to heal is you. Yeah. And so, I've been doing this for 30 years now and have, studied every modality under the sun.
Amazing.
And you have to learn to have the conversation with the body, and it will tell you what
Just
the
got to
body
listen.
needs.
Just got to listen.
Yes,
See,
there's-
that's the hardest part is listening.
It's the
and
antenna.
it's not that hard.
It's
Like
antenna.
anybody can learn to do it. You just have to want to learn to do it.
Yeah, the world this is, so you gotta stop. Sometimes universe give us this is to stop and pause and just lay down and look within. Just stop for 10 days, lay down and have the fever, have everything, listen to every cell, every organ, talk to them, heal them, meditate.
Is that how you get inspired to paint?
Well, it's all kind of everything is interconnected. I mean, yeah.
Because this piece is brand new.
That thing is still wet.
I finished it this morning. I varnished it.
I'm serious.
It's brand
I
new.
picked it up. I'm telling you, the side is still wet. That thing ended up being here because I said I need it yesterday, but she showed up today.
I feel like you need color. You need wow here, splash of energy. Some people come in and first thing.
Honey, I need more color.
They see this, they see that.
I need more color.
I
Freddie,
mean,
I
you
guess
like it, right?
We don't have enough color here.
Wait till you ladies one day you're gonna come in here. You're gonna wear 3D glasses and watch what happens, because that's the next thing that we're working on. Yes.
Elisa's working, and Teddy are working on branding of the production house, and they said, "And what are your colors? Black and white?" And I said, "Look around."
All of them.
That was my answer. Thank you very much. And that's like horrifying for Teddy, who's sitting in the back, that I said all of them.
That's a lot of colors.
But our colors are not black and white, because nothing in the studio is black and white. Nothing you and I do is black or white.
No, but that's okay.
Because there's nothing in life that's black or white.
But that's okay. They can ask. You know, it's not. There's
So
nothing wrong with
we
that.
just made your job harder. Or easier. You can pick any color.
Oh, it's fine, because I remember my first day here, very first day, and you said that you love like the bright in your face colors. And then whenever Teddy started talking to me about the social media, I almost beelined away from that, because the first thing I thought of was doing a black base, but to still bring in your color, I had the idea to do neon with it. So what I did, I started bringing in the neon pinks and making it look like an LED sign, how it's almost essentially lit up.
That works.
And I was like, okay, because then the black's going to keep it neutral, so that anything else you put on top of it is just going to stand out that much more.
Perfect.
And then I brought in like the bright, like the blues and the pinks and the purples and all that. I'm like, all right, we can have that one simple, safe one, but the rest of them, I'm just going to throw everything on, and we're just going to see if it works.
And I love neon. I love lights. Every time in here, I turn all the lights off, overheads, and everything glows, because I love that whole situation. I like the way it looks. I like the way it makes you feel. It's funny, I spoke to a hospital, and they say, wow, you know, a guy came in, he says, art does heal. I said, well, you know what, Doc, congratulations, you've entered this century. It does heal. You should have more art in the hospitals, as opposed to having just blank walls, because it does heal. And he says to me, do you really think so, Fred? He says, absolutely. How do you feel today? He says, I got to tell you, I got to get back to you, because he has a clinic and they're thinking about moving some art in there. So,
I actually want to introduce Julietta to All County
yes, yes.
for
absolutely.
a medical PT
So don't go away,
interview.
as they say. More to come.
It's a radio show that we produce on Thursday nights, and I think for your medical side, spiritual, everything that you do would be a great interview.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
So we always like to interconnect what we do. All right, how do we give out some information? Find your website for you and the Goddesses, and for you, Graciela.
Voices of the Goddess is VOTGpodcast.com. It's short for Voices of the
I'm thinking
Goddess.
yes as you do it.
And again, you can find Julietta the PT, the magical PT, at bodyandsoul-pt.com. And
you take insurance?
I do not.
Okay.
Because the way insurance operates these days, it doesn't cover what I do. You know, if you go to a traditional PT clinic, typically the PT is treating 4 people at one time. No one's really getting any true one-on-one care. I see everybody one-on-one. You got an hour of my time, unless you book more. Sometimes people want more. But yeah, insurance doesn't pay what I need to survive to provide that level of service.
I get it. And Graciela, studio sessions, boudoir sessions.
So boudoir, personal branding. I always say I take pictures of who you are and not just what you look like. And it's GracielaLaurent.com. So Laurent is just like Yves Saint Laurent, spelled the same way. Graciela. And yeah, you can Google me. I think I'm the only Graciela photographer in the state of Florida. So if you just remember that, you'll find me.
And Lola, for your artwork.
Lola Angelini Art Facebook page, and it will, and also website lola-angelini-art. .square.site. I gotta make
We're
it
gonna
shorter.
change that.
Yeah, I'm working on it. Yeah.
We're going to change that. Or just come down to the Brooklyn Cafe show, Amp Media Studios, and see her spectacular artwork. Along with, we've got, what, about 8 or 9 other artists that hang everything from here. And it's all for sale and all available to be in your home or your business. Add some color and a pop of life. How'd you like hanging out with us today?
I loved it. I could get used to staying like in the center of it.
There you go. Freddie, what else you got cooking?
We'll take a commercial break.
Actually, we're going to wrap it up because I got to go to the dentist.
Oh, I had something else to do. Okay.
You good?
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to give away the tickets though before we wrap up?
I can't, because he has to play the. I have no control of that. That's completely out of my control.
He's got it.
No, it's completely out of my control. But
It's
now
out of our
you're
control.
going to leave the studio and they're going to call to an empty studio.
Can't do it. All right, tune in tomorrow. See what else we got cooking. Have a great afternoon, everyone. Stay safe. Be kind to each other. We'll see you tomorrow, 9 a.m. drive time.
Your True Oldies Listener's Guide. Listening in the Palm Beaches? That's 95.9 FM. On the Treasure Coast? You want 106.9 FM. In Boca? It's 95.3 FM. We've got Fort Lauderdale and Broward County covered with 96.9 FM. And you can always hear us anywhere at TrueOldiesFLA.com.
Well, that's about it for today. Even though the show's over, the Brooklyn Cafe is always open for business. You're invited to join the fun every day from 12 to 2. If you missed some of the laughs from today, Dawn and Freddie S. will bring you more good cheer next time. You can follow the Brooklyn Cafe on Facebook at the Brooklyn Cafe TV to rewatch every minute of the show. We'll see you next time.